Hello, guys. Welcome, everybody, to Purple Haze Podcast. I am your lovely host, Isaac here. What an eventful game this was yesterday. Oh, man. You would not believe it. It was a high scoring game at Allegiant Stadium. Vikings win against the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. Final score 3 to nothing. 3 to nothing. I have never seen anything like this ever. This was one of the most weird and just it was so weird, and very ugly nonetheless, but I guess I can't complain much since it was a win, so I mean, maybe just a few things. Maybe just a few things to complain about in this video, but the Vikings basically basically there was a lot of things that went right for the Vikings to basically win here as long as they held their old business. The 49ers beat the Seahawks, the Bears beat the Lions, I don't know if that counts. The Cowboys beat the Eagles. I mean, I don't know. Really, that doesn't really affect anything, but then the Vikings had to handle their own business, and they did so. So let's dive right into the stats here. The Vikings won the time of possession battle by 5 minutes. Vikings total yards, 231 total yards, 99 passing yards, 132 rushing yards. They forced 2 turnovers, 16 first downs, 8 of 20 on their third down conversions, and got 4 sacks. As for the Raiders, they had 202 yards, 146 passing yards, 56 yards, 0 turnovers, 8 first downs, 3 of 14 on their third down conversions, and they got 5 sacks. So without further ado, we'll get into some of the good and then the ugly that was the game. That was Nick Mullins had. So, I mean, reason why I put Nick Mullins is because he was kind of like he was basically put in in the middle of the fourth quarter where Kevin O'Connell decided to put him in. So Nick Mullins had a 69% completion rate. I mean, he was 9 of 13, 60, so that's a 69% completion rate, 83 yards. So, I mean, yes, he did not put up godly numbers to start off, but what do you expect going off the fly? So, I mean, I guess he did enough to get this team the win, which Joshua Dobbs couldn't. We will get to him in just a second, but Nick Mullins filled in pretty well, so I'll give him credit where it's due. He didn't do anything fancy. He didn't try to force anything. He just made the right decisions when he had to. And also, the run game was basically better as it's always been. Usually, I've been complaining that the run game has been garbage this season. This time, the Vikings averaged 4.4, about 4.5 yards a carry. That's not too bad. Alexander Madison had 10 for 66, had 6 yards a carry. He didn't do too bad. I mean, he got hurt. Condolences to him. And then we got TJ Hawkinson, who had 5 catches for 53 yards. He was probably the best player on the offense as far as I'm concerned. He still shows you why he's getting paid those big bucks all along. So, I mean, he also broke Kyle Rudolph's record for most catches in a season. So, shout out to him. And the defense. Oh, man. The defense went through hell and back to get this team the win. They pitched a shutout for man's sake. Like Brian Flores, absolutely appreciative right there, man. And so I said that you needed to shut down Davante Adams and Josh Jacobs, and they can't do anything, and they did so. I believe Davante Adams only had 29 yards, and Josh Jacobs had 3 yards a carry. Absolutely impressive job, and they did an impressive job. They only gave up 8 first down. That's averaging 2 first downs a quarter allowed. So that was a good job by Brian Flores, coaching up very well. So as for individual performances, Ivan Pace Jr., he saved this team basically single-handedly. I mean, I absolutely love this dude. He had 13 tackles, a TFL, a sack, an interception, and a pass deflection. Absolutely amazing. Ivan Pace Jr. was making plays left and right yesterday. He was awesome, dude. So, and that interception that he had was the last, I believe it was the second to last Raiders possession, which killed the Raiders' momentum, basically, which killed the game effectively. So Ivan Pace Jr. had an amazing night. And also that backflip celebration. Love it. And Josh Metellus also, he continues to make one good play per game. I swear, it's every game he makes one good play or at least one turnover. He had 7 tackles and forced 1 fumble today. He was amazing too. So, as the other safety, Cam Bynum, he didn't have himself like a splashy day, but he also had a nice pass deflection to force 3rd down. And then you got Harrison Phillips. I mean, Daniil Hunter, I mean, he was okay, I would say, but Harrison Phillips was stepped up to the plate, had 4 tackles, had 1 TFL, had 1 sack. Very good. Very impressive job from Harrison Phillips as far as I'm concerned. And Ryan Wright, I mean, this dude must have had one hell of a workout. He punted the ball 8 times. He averaged 43 yards a punt. I mean, his leg must be tired after all that punting. And even after that, he's after like at least 5+ punts, he's still punting the ball deep. And so, very incredible job by Ryan Wright still. He's the best punter ever. And I mean, some credit to KOC. I'm going to give him some credit for, just making a quarterback change basically midfield or end the game and say, you know what, this game's within reach. We need to get Nick Mullins out there because Josh Dobbs ain't doing anything. And also for challenging one of the, I don't remember who the receiver is with the Raiders, but he challenged one catch, which I thought was really close to being a catch. So I absolutely liked the challenge that KOC did right there. And that was to basically punt the ball or have them punt the ball. So that was a good challenge. And then let's get to the uglies as to why the Vikings only scored 3 points. The offense. Oh my goodness, dude. The offense was so excruciating to watch yesterday. It was so bad. I mean, 3 points? Come on, dude. Dude. I just couldn't help myself but just laugh at the end of the game. Like, 3 points is all you can make? Really? I mean, it was just dog water all over. And the main culprit that I will say is Josh Dobbs. I mean, he was pathetic last. He was god awful. He was very abysmal. Had 10 for 23, 43% completion rate, just 63 yards. And that includes all 3 quarters and half of the 4th quarter. He was terrible. He was not confident. He was making so many inept throws to his receivers. He was either throwing it to the sidelines, he was throwing it in the dirt, he was sailing, he was throwing them too high. The ball placements was terrible, and just so many, and just the Jefferson injury. This absolutely sucks because the ball placement that Josh Dobbs did was right over his head, and that was easily, and that's where one of the Raiders defenders teed off on him because of that. And Josh Dobbs is very lucky that it's not a serious injury, but you damn near killed him right there, man. You you basically killed our receivers with where the ball was going, whether you were forcing it in traffic to one of the players, to Justin Jefferson. You were forcing it to him, in which case one of the Raiders almost got a pick six. Luckily that it was not. And there were another interception that could have been. There was two interceptions. He almost threw for two interceptions. And there were also some other times where he could have scrambled for a first down, but instead he either took a sack, he threw it away, or he dumped it off to the nearest either 4 yards. And Josh Dobbs was scared to also run the ball too as well. Whenever there was an opening, he could not make a completion at all. The Dobbs experiment ends now, and you're lucky to walk. And Dobbs is and they won in spite of Joshua Dobbs, which is just crazy. And so Joshua Dobbs, I mean, he was so terrible, and this is just a testament of who he is as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to give partial blame to Kevin O'Connell for this one too. 50-50 blame for Kevin O'Connell, and for good. For the bad part about the KOC was you had a bye week to prepare for the Raiders, and this is what you game plan? Really? And it took you about 58 and a half minutes to get in the game to score 3, a field goal. Granted, one of them was missed, but still, it took you that long? Really? But, I mean, you can't be doing this. The game plan was dog water. I get it, though. But also for Dobbs, I mean, this is just who he's been. I'm not surprised that he had this down of a game, because he's a backup for a reason. It is it's Hall time, baby. It's Hall time. You really cannot put Joshua Dobbs anymore out there. But right now, he said he was going to develop and maximize his skill set, and I didn't really see that, that he was going to fix Joshua Dobbs. I just didn't see it. Sorry, I just did not see it at all. So they got the win, which is a good thing, because you can never apologize for him. That's my rule of thumb, is a win is always a win, no matter if it's the 3-0 win. It's always a win, and I will take it. 7-6, basically. Still a good stretch of games to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Skol.